what is EIT? I mean, what does it mean for you? This beautiful object that needs to promote innovation in Europe. This is an important class, so I need to know what EIT is for you.
Well, EIT is a European organization and they want to bring about more innovation in Europe.
They are also trying to create more European startups.
How does EIT going to promote innovation? I mean, I hope that after all the kickoffs and the BD labs and the big small canvas that you did, you must know a bit more.
EIT.
European Institute of Technology, Innovation and Technology. Yeah.
It's a European organization that is focused in finding or bringing students together for innovation, to teach them innovation or prepare them for that.
The European organization devoted to help Europe be innovative and entrepreneur maybe, yes.
To combine innovative studies and teach people how to create businesses using the knowledge that they get in the universities.
Maybe EIT is trying to be MIT of Europe.
Connecting people from all over the Europe and not only the Europe.
The best thing is lots of events about interesting things.
Opportunity to meet a lot of interesting and nice people.
The possibility to learn abroad and the need to move to another country.
And my best experience is related with traveling, meeting people, especially foreign people.
Best experience for sure is the opportunity to meet people from all over the Europe and the possibility of traveling around the Europe and studying in different universities and so on.
Being here and having the opportunity to study abroad.
I told you, don't come me to tell me the fairy tale of EIT because it's boring. And I want some critical thinking. That's what I want. This is my question. What is EIT for you? What are your thoughts about it? How do you feel it? How have you been living it up to now?
For applying to the EIT digital program, I checked the university list and I was really surprised that they have so many different universities from different countries. So I thought it was really interesting that they could integrate all of these different institutions in the same program. So it turns out in practice it's not so simple. Every one of these universities applies different rules for some processes. So for example, right now I have to deal with two different rules for the thesis, not only in my exit university, but also from the entry university.
When I was looking through the EIT coursework, my course said specialization in cognitive interactions, and I was super interested in it. And in fact, I was going around telling my friends in India, oh, I'm specializing in cognitive interactions. But after I came here for my second year, where I'm supposed to be specializing, I looked through the course list and there was not a single course which was directly related to cognitive interaction. In fact, the only one was placed in the 4th semester when we had to do our thesis.
When I joined EIT, I was very excited to be studying cognitive interaction, and I thought that all the courses would be under a theme of psychology. But when I got here, the courses were all the same as what I had done in my first year, so there was no difference really.
When I joined EIT, I thought since it's an European organization, it will have many industry contacts and I'll find it easier to find an internship or maybe find a job later on. Now that I'm applying for internship, I see that the major companies in Europe, they don't even know about EIT, and I would say it's just a bit disappointing.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more! Where the fuck are your parents? Who are your parents? I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. It's time to stop!
So based on what I see here, it is pretty much evident that your kid, EIT, your baby, is having some really problems in life. So what do you think about it? What do you have to say on this?
He was born, it was nice at the beginning, right? It was a tough story at the time because it was big pain. We invested a lot. We gave some pocket money to go out and with girls and enjoy the clubs sometimes. even if we're not spent good enough.
Then he started hanging out with those startups people.
Startupping and apps, startups and apps. This was Bad Company, and on the money, I also have to say that this is the money of the family, of the European family that put the money.
All the effort.
The taxpayers' money. The taxpayers' money. Taxpayers' money.
Now we have a much better idea about your kid, and I will discuss with my team, and we'll try to see what we can do to fix the problem that your kid EIT is having. We all hope that you get your baby back. The current mission and vision of EIT is usually represented by what they call the knowledge triangle, which is simply the combination of research, industry, and education. We wanted to visualize how these components interact and how they will spur innovation.
The theory is that this would come together and we would have a lot of startups, and that would somehow make Europe innovative.
What EIT is doing right now is putting its resources on education and startups. Even all the metrics that have been stated in the plan for 2017 and 2019 have only these as KPIs.
But how can we measure innovation? Is it just creating more startups?
Is it measured by the amount of money invested? Does the industry trust the startups enough to support them? Do they see the value in collaboration with EIT startups?
Well, maybe it's a little too naive to think that the startup ecosystem is strong enough to sustain and attract students to take up entrepreneurship without the support and engagement of big industries.
We believe that having a lot of startups is not synonymous with innovation. If innovation is a product or convergence of the three vertices and entrepreneurship, then we should be measuring the edges of the triangle instead of measuring the nodes separately.
Job placements. From our own experience, we have learned that a lot of companies are not aware of EIT. They need to understand and be convinced of the added value of hiring an EIT graduate as compared to any other regular student. A good starting point is to have clear agreements with the partner industries to provide internships and job placements.
Company BD Labs. BD Labs often involve students coming up with a startup in a short span of time. Unfortunately, most of these die out because students move away for the second year. One option is allowing students to resume them as their thesis and post-graduation job. Another one is to use the time and effort to understand how innovation happens within industries, not by working on repetitive and boring tasks outsourced by confused startups, but with engaging projects that provide real value and results for the companies.
Next, we have the relationship between industry and research. One way to create this link is through more industrial PhDs and postdoctoral programs. Another way is to work as co-ops within industries and allowing a significant amount of knowledge transfer.
Also, EIT can act as a research academy, much like an incubator, but for industry-oriented projects. This way, the risk is reduced for the industry, and at the same time, they get to see tangible results from EIT-based researchers.
The final link we have is education and research. One key thing we have realized time and again is the lack of standardization across EIT nodes. It will be crucial for EIT to standardize the education so that every EIT student can produce comparable results in terms of the work they do.
Collaboration among KICs. We all know that innovation is diversity driven. Why are we not using the diversity that we have? Let us say a group of EIT digital students are building an app for the disabled. Wouldn't they benefit if they had someone from Health KIC or Smart City KIC with them?
So far, we have discussed the first level of the knowledge pyramid, the way we call it, where EIT may have to allocate more resources and put in a lot of effort. But strengthening these dynamics would lead to something much more impressive.
Entrepreneurship. We all have heard about these companies that allow their employees to get creative and work on any project one day of the week. Some others even say, you know what, I give you 2 years and some guidance. If your startup makes it, good, but if it doesn't, you can come back to your job. This safety net may help some people innovate and pursue entrepreneurship from a different perspective.
This would also give rise to industry-sponsored research. Industries would see the potential benefits that EIT could provide for them. So, they would be willing to conduct more research projects with the help of EIT, thus boosting the overall innovation ecosystem.
Innovation-driven education. The education and research would move away from a lab-only mentality and start moving towards a market-oriented research and product development.
So by creating a stacked pyramid instead of a 2D triangle, we have a more detailed view of where EIT should focus and how it should allocate its resources and efforts.
It will also give a clearer view, internally and externally, on how innovation will happen.
So let's clean this shit up.